Welcome back, you degenerate old schoolers, to another episode of The Orb. Tonight is just a regular match of Xpoints 38. I'm playing Philip. Fun fact, we attended the same college, just a few years apart from each other. Their standards must have been pretty low to let in two degenerates. Enough reminiscing about the old times. Let's move on to the deck tech. So first we're going to take a look at Philip's deck. He is running mono green, and starting at the top left, 4 Llanowar Elves, along with 2 Elves of Deep Shadow for mana ramp. Love the Elves of Deep Shadow from GloryCon. That is a badass looking. I need to get my hands on one. I should have jumped after Mike Franz when I had a chance. Moving on, 4 Scrib Sprites, and right below that's one more flyer, Emerald Dragonfly. What a pain in the ass, 1/1 for Striker flying. And with a mere giant growth, she can gobble down the Serra Angel. So steroids are real, especially with Emerald Dragonflies. After that, he has 3 Scavenger Folk to take care of a myriad of artifacts. There's 2 altars past that, right below those Elves of Deep Shadow, and those are Timberwolves. Timberwolves for 1 green gives you a 1/1 bander, and as everyone knows about banding, it's a complete pain in the ass, especially when you add in other cards like Spitting Slug. If you didn't have a headache before the match started, you're definitely going to have one after this thing enters combat, or on the off chance they're both untapped to block, welcome to your own nightmare. So Spitting Slug is questionable whether it has first strike or gives first strike. And that 1/1 Timberwolves is going to need at least 5 damage dealt to try and kill the 2. And they can just turn around and dump it into the Wolves. So we shall see if those cards can team up in this match. He also is running 4 Ice Storm. I think land removal is of the utmost importance in Xpoint. And the reasons why are his points. 4 Mishra's Factories. He has 4 Maze of Ith, 2 in the main deck and 2 in the sideboard. Now, Maze of Ith with low to the ground decks becomes a nightmare. They can undo the bad blocks that they have out there and let the little damage get through. His deck is very, very wide. He's also running 4 Giant Growth and 4 Pendlehaven for pump, and 2 Hurricane and 2 Aeleopile for direct damage. Hurricane I love, a great X spell. The only downside to Hurricane is it's just like the Earthquake. It deals damage both ways, both out and in. Doesn't feel so well sometimes. He's also running a myriad of land, the standard Chaos Orb, and his last 2 points go into the Mox Emerald. Sideboard, I see 2 Trackers sitting in there. Love Tracker. I'm sure if he pairs up against a mono black deck, Tracker's going to do some heavy lifting. Or even a white Weenie deck. 3 Winter Orb for any deck that's greedy on mana. And look at this 3 Black Vice. Love the classic Black Vice. 3 Whirling Dervish also round out his sideboard. So, love the deck. But let's go ahead and take a look at my deck for the month. And here's a look at my deck for this matchup. It's white, it's red, we mix them all together with some brown artifacts. It's pink Weenie. This thing is fairly angry and just wants to deal 20 damage as fast as possible in the game. 4 Savannah Lions, 4 Atog, and 3 Serra Angel make up my creature package. 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Chain Lightning are the main sources of direct damage. I do have a wheel in there. I do have 2 Fireballs. The reason I do is because I keep a couple Mana Vaults to try and ramp out an early game Serra Angel and close out the game as quick as humanly possible. Or I can also dump that mana right back into the Fireball. A couple Onks and Mishra, full playset of Black Vices, and 2 Winter Orbs. So Winter Orbs aren't going to be great against mono green. They never are. I'm also running 1 City in a Bottle main to try and knock out any Arabian Night cards that's probably not going to bode well for me against mono green either. Sideboard is packed with 2 Tormod's Crypts for those evil undead decks. Again, you know who you are, the folks that play those. It's also good against decks that want to shuffle back up their library, mainly through a Time Twister. So, when you see a deck like a Twiddle Vault deck, I think Tormod's Crypts work fantastic against those folks. 2 Swords to Plowshares, 3 Disenchant, 2 Earthquake for any deck that's lower and wider than mine. Again, this mono green deck probably deserves an Earthquake being thrown at it. 3 Blood Moons, which won't be a factor, and 3 Blue Elemental Blasts. Again, cards that will not be used, I'm sure, this matchup. My points are the aforementioned Wheel of Fortune, and then 4 Moxen. Those Moxen are to help me ramp, but more importantly, they are ATOG food against my opponents. All that card should say is worth a lot of money, gives +2/+2 to target ATOG. Alright, well, I think I've said enough words, so it's time to watch some old school Magic. Alright, here we are, game number 1. I believe I won the die roll. I watched the video and then deleted that part. So, I'm playing with Darth Vader playmat. I'll be on the play, firing down a mountain, straight into a Black Vice. Philip's on, I believe it's a Deep Spawners playmat. At least I hope it is. He starts with a Forest and a Llanowar Elf, so immediate mana ramp. He does eat 3 damage from the Vice. Terrible news when you're playing Vice is to see something like mono green, but I'm all in for the attack plan. Strip out the Forest, see if I can bolt on the Elf. I cannot. I pass with 5. He's down to 15. Oh, misses a land drop, sends down a Scavenger Folk, so he's still looking at taking a couple damage turn. I fire down a Plains, and here's ATOG. ATOG likes to party, and solid blocker against a green deck. Even more dangerous. I can see him staring over at my Black Vice, already trying to eat that shit. Good news is, Vice has already done 7 damage. Oh, Philip misses another land drop. This is painful. Mono green, though, is best suited to get out of this situation. He fires down Elves of Deep Shadow, passes back to me. I get down a plane, another mountain, I'm sorry. And a Mana Vault. I'm really ramping here. Tapping for 3 colorless. Chaos Orb. Oh, an activation. Here we go. And here's the flip. Clean rotation. Oh, the judges in Denmark give it an 8.8, screaming, "Leave the eyes!" And it does. So, Chaos Orb wins. That's a new animation for Chaos Orb. Chaos Orb kills out Llanowar Elf, takes away a mana source, and takes him off green. This is devastating. I fire ATOG in, and ATOG gobbles down that Mana Vault. Insult to injury. Oh no! Philip's permanents are leaving the board at record pace. Lightning Bolt straight to his Elves of Deep Shadow. Oh man, look at this. Span Alliance hits the board. That was game. He misses his last land drop. I feel bad. I hate when that happens to me. Not so bad when it happens to my opponent, but I do feel kind of bad. So, game number 1. Philip just couldn't come up with any mana, so let's take a look at game number 2. Here we are with game number 2. Unfortunately, game number 1, Pink Weenie did naughty things to mono green. Philip plays out a Script Sprites followed by a Tap Forest. Very efficient. Passes to me with 5 in hand. Oh, look at this. Playing out some jewelry. Ruby and a pearl with a plateau. Savannah Lions. Winter Orb. Okay, that's something. My opponent swapped out cards. Oh, look at this. Timberwolves and a Maze of Ith. So again, undoing the bad blocks and... Oh, bans, double blocks. Who's he going to lose here? I'm going to lose my Savannah Lions. I think I was trying to get him to tap down his Maze to take him off mana. He loses Timberwolves. Comes in for 1 with Script Sprites. Shoots down on another forest. My deck pretty well has all the mana it needs. It now definitely does. I can cast Sarah Angel. A Black Vice, that's way too late in the game. Even with Winter Orb down, Mono Green does not care. So probably should have ripped the Winter Orbs out, you know, being a good magician. But I am not. Script Sprites are punching me in the face. I'm down to 18. I play out a Copper Tablet that's going to send damage both ways. Oh, look at this. Pendlehaven pumping. He's now up to 3 damage a turn and playing a Spitting Slug. This is devastating. I need a way to deal with some of these creatures. I can tell you what does a really good job at it. Sarah Angel does a very good job at dealing with Weenie decks. Ooh, and Earthquake can too. Earthquake for 4. So that puts me at 10, my opponent at 15. Earthquake sharing the love to both sides. Copper Tablet sharing the love to both sides. And his Script Sprites are just dealing damage to me. They're not sharing the love to both sides. So, yeah, he throws in Pendlehaven, strips out my plateau. I don't think much is going to matter. A couple more turns with Pendlehaven, those Script Sprites. I'm toast. Not to mention my own Copper Tablet stabbing me in the kidney. Damn you, Copper Tablet. Damn you. Yeah, coming in for another 3. Looks like I'm down to 3. My opponent's still on 13. This game is hauling ass. It's like the last game, but not going in my favor at all. Down to 2 with Copper Tablet and Drawn Mountain. Just what I don't need. So Script Sprites in for the win. Timberwolves got to see some playtime. They are not just an NBA team. They're also a powerful Magic card. Yeah, so let there be game number 3. And here we go with game number 3. I took game number 1, lightning fast. Green Weenie pokes back game number 2, lightning speed himself. I'm on the play game number 3, plateau into Black Vice. They're back in. 3 damage before my opponent can even eye his hand very well. But look at this. He's off to a quick start again. Forest followed by Script Sprites. I play on a Plains, tap 2, Atog. My smiling little buddy. That artifact-eating son of a bitch. Timberwolves down. And Script Sprites in for 1. So, lucky enough that Black Vice has already done 5 damage to my mono-green opponent. We jam Atog in. Ooh, opponent blocks and pumps. Timberwolves are doing steroids. They've turned to a 4-4. Biggest I can get my Atog's a 3-4. What to do, what to do. Yeah. Atog takes a shit. Unfortunately, there were not enough artifacts to eat, but look at this. Atog's replaced with a new Atog and a Savannah Lions. My opponent drops out a strip mine, eats my plateau, and Script Sprite's back in for 1. I'm down to 18. So Timberwolves left behind, I guess, as a blocker. Ooh, strip mine of my own. And team goes in. Oh, Timberwolves. I mean, you can't do steroids all the time. Giant growth hits the board. Timberwolves are getting huge. 4-4. And they are just murdering Atogs left and right. I'm going to have to make an animation for this. I replace my murdered Atogs with the new Savannah Lions. Flip tapping 3, Ice Storm. Takes me off red. So he sent me back 2 mana sources. Even though my deck's super low to the ground, this still kind of hurts. I need red. And Script Sprites is having a party above my head. They've done 3 damage. I'm down to 17. My opponent's way under Black Vice range. But I am showing up to 4 damage turn on board with Savannah Lions. Yep. Send in the Lions. So we trade Timberwolves, all out of gas, did too many steroids. I jam in for 2, he's down to 11, and I drop a Chaos Orb. Script Sprite's in for another 1, down to 16. He plays out a Factory. Factory's not great news for me, although I do have the Strip Mine. I prefer not to lose another land, but here we go. In for 2 with Savannah Lions. My opponent's tapping things. I'm activating a Chaos Orb. Here's the activation for the Factory. Flip, clean hit. Australia gives it a 7.2 and is amazed they flip backwards in the Northern Hemisphere. So the Orb did some more heavy lifting, removes that Factory from the game. Savannah Lions in for 2. Philip down to 9. He needs to come up with some answers quickly. Fires out another Forest. Plateau. So I'm back on red, which is quite important for this pink Weenie deck. Tap or not to tap? Oh, I've decided to tap. And I fireball his Script Sprites for 1 and him for 1. And he's saving those steroids right in his back pocket. Whips them out. Injects the Script Sprites. What a pro move. He hung on to that. Unless he just top decked it. I feel like he might have been hanging on to that for a while. Fires down a Maze of Ith. Now, the Maze is going to be kind of a pain in the ass for me. But I do come up with a second creature. Oh, and an instant answer for the Maze. Tough to see the cards in front of you sometimes. Strip out what Maze he did have, and we exchange creatures. And look at this, rips another Maze from the top. That is not good news, as I am not playing in a 4-strip format. We have 1 strip mine. Oh, but we do have a Chain Lightning straight to the face. That puts him down to 5. So Mesa Ith is doing some heavy defense for him right now. I rip another Plains. I have one card in hand that I haven't been able to play out. Ooh, look at this. Scavenger Folk down, so he can eat my artifact. Black Vice I don't think is going to be a real threat for him ever again. But if I do play out a Copper Tablet, that elf can do some work. Okay, here she is coming in for one. I offered a trade. And, oh, never mind. I don't offer to trade. I just decide to take the one. I go to 15. Oh, tapping 5. Sarah Angel. Oh, Sarah Angel's so good. Yeah, he does still have that maze. Oh, look at this. Brutality. Another Maze of Ith. So he brought him in from the sideboard, it looks like. Yeah, I played down a Black Vice, which means about nothing. Now, if I do draw a wheel, that can mess him up pretty good. He's building threats and building his mana base. He's got a Land of War elf down and way too many forests for his deck. Atog, so more threats coming in. Okay, Pendlehaven. So combat scenarios are getting ready to go sideways. Pendlehaven buffs his creatures to deal with my Savannah Lion, but the bad news is he's got to deal with the Atog, because Atog is staring at those Black Vices, and I think I hear his stomach growling. Philip's doing an Ancestral Recall move at the table there. I rip another mountain. Oh, look at this! And Fireball in for the win. Oh, Philip shows 2 Hurricanes in hand. That is tough. Unusable when you're behind in life. Pink Weenie victimizes Green Weenie 2-1. Great games, Philip. Love the mono green deck. And as always, thanks for watching the Orb.